trading bell starts right now. It's the second weekend in the month of November. Let's get the show started. The Nigerian stock markets went up 1.07% yesterday, bucking the trend so far in the week. Dangote Cement shares were up. Airtel Africa saw some of the biggest trading day, which is one of the largest telcos listed on the market. You've got a few gains in the banking sector as well, including GITCO as well as Zenith Bank. In the BRVM, Societe Generale Star shares fell yesterday on the composite, bringing that down by 0.18%, as well as other big names. In the Egyptian stock market, 0.21% down. Investors traded roughly $53 million on the stock exchange in Casablanca, in Cairo. Then you've got the Nairobi stock market is up by 0.83% with that jump in the shares of Safaricom, the largest listed company by market cap. Then, of course, you have the GSE crossed the 70,000 index reading on the all-share index yesterday. The industrials, the resources, the financial services indices were all in green territory. Of course, the rand also pulled about 2% uptick on the back of the US dollar. So it was a very positive trading day in South Africa. Again, as stock markets around the world, across developed markets, finished also very strongly yesterday on the back of the news that US inflation is decelerating a little bit tempered in the month of October due to the latest data released on Thursday than earlier expected. That pushed down the price of crude oil and a few other assets as well. So we're cruising to what looks like a positive weekend. That is whatever happens today, the 11th of November. So let's take that straight. Look at top stories making headlines across the continent, starting as always with East Africa, where Kenya and South Africa has come together to improve bilateral trade on migration and ties, a visa-free arrangement. President Ramaphosa did his first state visit to Kenya to meet with the new president in office, William Ruto. All that big news this week between two of the largest economies on the African continent. In the meantime, Kenya is deferring the payment of about $700 million in loan payment because of pressure on its debt. Botswana is choppy, says he's fighting technical insolvency because business hasn't been really good for the supermarket business chain in Kenya. By the way, Choppies is one of the few African supermarkets struggling to do business outside their jurisdictions. Game Stores in South Africa says it's going to be closing a number of stores in West Africa, including Kenya, Ghana, Nigeria, Uganda, and a few other places later this year. And the Central Bank of Tanzania wants more products on the street because Islamic bond by KCB in the country is making headway. Let's look at West Africa, what's making headlines as we go into the weekend with the Nigerian government looking at how to privatize the power sector with the Zungeru still on the news, but the price of oil is not fuel, it's not going anywhere. The State Oil Corporation, which is now privatized, NNPC Limited, says 117 naira per litre is impossible, according to Mele Kyari, who is the group CEO of the NNPC Limited, says the days of 117 naira per litre those days are over. InfraCredit, based in Lagos, Nigeria, has backed $10 million off-grid solar project, which will improve rural electrification in Africa's most populous country. In the meantime, Ghana is looking to get about $50 million from the World Bank for CO2 reduction 2019-2024 program, while the Bank of Africa of Cote d'Ivoire listed on the BRVM reporting third quarter's net banking income jump of 6.4%. News also coming through today from Ghana is that Elon Musk has told Twitter staff that bankruptcy is not it's not out of the question. It's a possibility. That's the right word. It's a possibility. While the entire staff, 20 staff or so in Ghana's office has been laid off. Ghana is the first Twitter office, which was set up just about a year ago on the African continent. Now the staff will be laid off. They'll be paid up to next month, but then they'll be asked to go as part of the wider staff haircuts that Elon Musk is making as the new CEO of the social media giant. And the president of ASEA, who's also the managing director of the BRVM, that's the French-speaking West African exchange based in Cote d'Ivoire, has pushed for what we call sustainable finance for Africa at the COP27 summit. He was speaking in Sharm el-Sheikh, Egypt. take me straight to the Southern Africa market, where some good news are also coming through with South Africa and Kenya looking to come together to set up a Pan-African airline. But of course, you got stories within the earnings space with the corporate news. MultiChoice, of course, reporting this morning that its revenue went up 7%. Headline earnings went up by core earnings went up by 2%. Operating profit also climbed 2% despite a bit of a slowdown in the number of subscribers. That's what MultiChoice, which operates widely across Africa, from home markets in South Africa to a bigger market in Nigeria and the rest of the continent, that through DSTV. That's what news came in through today. Quite a lot of other big news, with Namibia being one of the most talking points economy on the African continent at the COP27 summit. In the meantime, we look at the North Africa's space, where Egypt where Afreximbank, of course, which is headquartered in Egypt, is looking to do further concessional development funding worth about $2.24 billion US, and Egypt launching the first African voluntary carbon market. That was announced at the COP27, which will take its going through the first weekend and has another 1 week to go. Morocco's railway office says it's done 192 million euros deal with the European Investment Bank, while Afreximbank and the EIB, which is the European Investment Bank, looking at 300 million euros funding to support mid-cap companies on the African continent to help them smooth out what you call the supply chain problem, which has been occasioned by the war in Ukraine, and a bit of an impact of all of that and a few other global issues around the supply chain metrics. That's part of what is in the news as we head into the weekend. Take all that on board, everyone, and we'll see you back on Monday. Have a great weekend. I am Bosin Amafai, and I'll see you next time.